Hello and welcome to the Hospitable Hosts podcast. Today we're joined by Ryan Dumka and Sara Crawford of Desert Concierge Management. They've scaled their short-term rental business to over $3 million in booking revenue, and they're here to share what it really takes to grow, automate, and thrive in this industry. So let's dive in. Hello, Ryan and Sara. Thanks so much for joining us for the Hospitable Host podcast. We're just going to start with talking a little bit about an introduction about yourselves and background. So can you start by introducing yourself and your property management company, where your properties are located, your types of guests, just a little bit of background behind, Desert Concierge
Sure.
Management.
Sarah, do you want to kick it off?
We can, yeah. So Ryan and I own Desert Concierge Management. We met 5 years ago, something like that, 6 years
30.
ago. Yeah, right. So I started off with a cleaning company about 7 years ago. Met with Ryan at one of his vacation rentals in Bullhead City, and I mean, he'll tell you the same thing. He had a not so nice cleaner, and he was always checking on her. He was always making sure things were going, she was getting it clean and stuff. He'd have to drive.
This lady would show up 45 minutes before I guess and be like, "It's clean." I'm like, "No, what? No, it's not."
We've said this story a couple times. I met with Ryan and I walked in and walked out of there like, I'm not getting this job. There's no way. We didn't jive. It didn't work. Like, I thought he wasn't going to hire us. And I don't know, 2 days later, he called, hired me. And then within 6 months, it was super easy for him. And he ended up buying a second one in Bullhead City. And then, you tell your part of it.
So my background is hospitality. I used to manage Cheesecake Factory restaurants and Yard House restaurants. And then at the time I was working at Microsoft. So like my background's like hospitality, technology. So this was like perfect. COVID happened, and with Microsoft, I sort of got reassigned with everything and really started to re-examine my career and my life. I would commute 14 hours a day away from my kids, and it was bad. So Sara was sort of.
Remember that day you called me and you said, so they're trying to give me a severance pay or I have to go into a different position. I want to talk to you before I talk to my wife. I was like, well, maybe you should talk to Kelly first.
Well, so I'm the type that I like to have all the information first, and then I present the scenario, my plan. Yeah. Wives, I think, want a plan from a husband when they're trying to quit their job.
I was like, let's go.
And I think we had started it, and at that time we were at like 10 properties, I think, under management, maybe less.
Yeah, I think less. I think we had CC Plaza, yours, and maybe one other one.
Oh yeah, we were tiny, and I remember I pitched it to my wife. I was like, "Look, if I took these 40 hours a week that I work, and not to mention my commute, I think we can do something better." Like, I think that like we have Sara there that is detail oriented and knows the properties and is a great resource locally on the ground. And we work really well together on managing the Airbnbs that we have together already. I'm not getting any younger. Like, the kids don't really see me as it is. And I wanted to be more involved and hands-on. And I think we all took a risk on this. And I mean, it became definitely a passion of both of ours. And, it's, I think now we're at like, I don't even know how many properties we have now. I just listed, I was working late at launching one last night. I launched one yesterday morning. I think we're at like 80, 85, something like that.
I think live we're at 77, but we've got 14, I think. And we've got like 6 photo shoots this week.
We have, and so our photographer, one of our properties, they ran into like an issue with getting something done before photos. I was like, it's fine. Like, we'll plug another house and this one's ready to go. Let's get it photographed and up and running. But that's sort of where, and then we started in Lake Havasu, we started a cleaning company together out there. So we have a manager, an entire sort of cleaning staff out there that handles the Lake Havasu properties. And Bullhead City, geographically from Lake Havasu, is about an hour away. So it's not quite as easy to just jump from Bullhead to Havasu, if there's turnarounds on cleanings and stuff. But it allows us to be really quick with this, in the same way we are with Bullhead, where if it's a turnaround or if a property needs something or a guest needs something, we can be there within minutes.
That's awesome. I mean, it's so hard to find a cleaning service. We were at an investor conference this past weekend, and I had so many property managers come up to us and be like, do you know any cleaning services in Cleveland, Ohio, or this or that? Yeah,
If you can
that's
find it,
crazy.
start your own.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
Honestly, and that's where when I started it, I was working a full-time job. My life had just drastically changed at one moment. And I was like, I need to be able to provide for my three kids. Like
Mhm.
I can't just clean on the side. And so I got a hold of Ryan. I said, look, I want to pay you. Come teach me this stuff. Your houses, we had created a relationship within a year. I said, let's show me how to do this. And then that's when COVID hit and all this stuff happened. And we were like, oh, okay, let's just roll with it and see what happens.
Yeah. I remember our first customer pitch to Jay when we picked up his
On
house.
the phone.
I had created this PowerPoint presentation with like, this is what we can do. This is our background. And I remember at the end of it, he was like, I'm sold. Let's do it. And I remember calling Sarah. I was like, did we just get our first one? And it was just, it was so cool after that. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
and our growth, I mean, honestly, like we don't do ads. We don't do any Facebook marketing, any of that kind of stuff. Our growth has really just been totally organic through either leads from the cleaning side or leads from realtors, or a lot of our existing guests or a lot of our existing owners have referred us to other ones that they know that have people. One of our customers, which is really cool, they stayed at one of our properties in Bullhead, had such a great time. They hit me up a couple weeks later, asked if we were taking on new customers. Well, they actually bought 4 properties out there that Sarah and I both designed and furnished on our own out there, and now we're managing a small portfolio for him out there as well. And it's literally because he had a great time at one of our properties and wanted to, I guess, become a part of it.
Well, and the only way he ended up with our number is because we accidentally sent our handyman out there to fix a bunk bed.
I
We had
totally
on his work order and he was supposed to go fix a bunk bed. He shows up and he knocks on the door and the guy's like, what are you doing here? And that's how we ended up with his phone number. Like, we're good at like making sure all that stuff, but those little tiny things like that change.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, that part of it changed a lot of our business too, because we went and like Ryan said, we've designed them, we've done this stuff. So now we're like, okay, we can do this. We know that we can design them, we can furnish them, we can, give people, and we know what their budget, and we can ask people like, hey, what's your budget? Let us do it all. We can set it up, and you can buy an unfurnished house and we'll have it done in a month for you. And then we're on the, we're going, we're making money. And
That's
and we don't just like, I think the thing that we've done too is we don't just like paint a couple walls and throw in some IKEA furniture. Like we're doing accent walls. We've done some wild stuff like with neon signs, and we've totally branded some of these properties too, that they have their own vibe and sort of identity, which translates to dollars and bookings and revenue and reviews and all sorts of stuff too. So yeah, that's been huge.
So I'm hearing all these, you just brought about design, and then you talked about photography, and you talked about the management side. You use Hospitable. So how did you first start out with just the management side and then it built from there, or how has this whole package started?
So it started when I got my first property, and obviously I got beat up by my old cleaner out there because I would be stressing out with the guests and the cleanliness of my property. Sarah took a big load of stress off my plate with that first one. And that sort of parlayed me into buying my second one. My wife and I had a condo in Phoenix that was a long-term rental. We made like $200 a month cash flow on that one, but we had like $100,000 in equity in there. I was like, why don't we take this money and buy the second one? I don't really have to do a lot of stressing about making sure that she knows when to clean it, and if it's a turnaround and all that kind of stuff too. So that started DCM, was sort of this partnership between her and I. And then it became, she has a different opinion. I'm more the one that like, I have an idea, let's figure it out and let's just do it. And whereas she's like, hold, okay, I'm on board, but also let's talk through this a little more. I'm like, no, we'll figure it out. Yeah. And so then we started Havasu, the cleaning company out there, together, and then it just sort of parlayed into that. But I think when we got with Hospitable, on the back side of it with me, I was needing something to help. I think we were probably at 5 to 10 properties at that point, but I needed help with the auto messaging. Because I wanted to make sure every guest had the check-in instructions. I didn't want to have to copy and paste from somewhere and set timers. So I was looking for software that did that. And then at that point, we had already set up I had gone through August locks. I've tried the Yale locks. And I think we finally settled on the Schlage Encode locks. And I was like, okay, Hospitable has the auto messaging. And then they have this software where it can create the codes for the guest, the last 4 digits of their phone number. I don't have to worry about messaging, and I don't have to worry about the locks. That's a huge chunk for me. And we can just go from there. So we got in with Hospitable, and then we've sort of grown with you guys. You guys added more features. Like now we've been doing direct booking for like the last 2.5 years, I think.
Okay.
We got a little trophy from Hospitable too, because we did like
Oh,
100 grand in revenue directly from you guys, which is really cool. But then because we also have an insurance company that's sort of partnered, it's one of the partners of you guys too.
Yep.
So for us, the software has taken a lot of stress off our plate, where we can focus on the guest, their experience, the property, and then also talking and getting more and more properties added into the fold as well. And we have sort of grown with you guys through a lot of the features. Now we're leaning on your pricing algorithm software. I was just talking to a customer right before this call that we're on Price Labs, and she had some ideas in mind on prices that she wanted. And I think I have pulled like 75% of our properties onto your pricing software, and it's working. Like we're getting a lot more bookings, and it's very easy to use. I definitely like it. So she was another one that I sort of toggled off Price Labs and toggled on Hospitable for, because we are seeing an uptick in bookings. And I was up at 4:30 this morning just making sure all the check-in messages were good to go. And we have a lot of I just want to make sure like the guest experience is a smooth process. But once you get the software up and running, once the systems are in place, which is so important, then it allows you to actually just like grow.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly what I was just going to say. How important is it having that tech stack and having Hospitable to help you scale sustainably down
Huge.
to your 80 properties or so, and now you have so many on the horizon. It's just
Well, and it's nice too. It keeps us all completely organized and on the same page. And, even we have, I think, 2 or 3 houses that the owners use, and they have personal friends that want to clean the houses. So we're able to give them access to the calendar as well for those specific houses. And, we have our Havasu team and we have our Bullhead City team, and we make sure each, our Havasu team, they only have access to the Havasu calendar. So then you're not looking through 80 properties to figure it out. And then our Bullhead team only has access to the Bullhead calendar. So it's really nice and convenient for everybody. And I think it's helped a lot. Like, I don't know, honestly, I don't know how we could keep 80 properties in order without it.
Well, and like you said, like initially it was, instead of having, like, I think for the beginning with Sara, and then for my old cleaner, like I would literally have to just probably every few days send her a screenshot of, hey, this is what my calendar looks like to get the cleaning scheduled. And then if a guest is like, hey, can I check in early? Then I have to get with her in a text. And now it's just the Bullhead cleaning team is already integrated with our calendar. If they know and create the cleanings as needed. And same thing with Havasu. So we're like, they have their own systems they're leaning on to run their side of the business. And then we have ours where there's not a lot of just like back and forth and churn, I guess. It's just going.
Because we've got, I think, 7 in our team now. So it just makes it easy. You know which properties you're in charge of and which ones you're scheduling. And our scheduling manager has access to all the calendar, and it makes it super convenient.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm going to backpedal here just to get a little bit more info on this dynamic pricing. We're having a lot of customers that love Price Labs, and I get that. It's amazing. It's so robust, and it really has all the deep questions and such. But you did say that you made that switch to hospitable pricing. Was it difficult for you, or what advice do you have for people who are thinking about it but just aren't sure right at this moment?
Price Labs can be a little they give you a lot of data and a lot of information and tools, and they give you a lot at your fingertips. And if you don't know how to interpret it, or if you don't have the patience or the interests, then it's probably going to be overwhelming to you, as it was for me. I'm sure there was a ton of features on Price Labs that we weren't utilizing. I will say that I still lean on Price Labs for a lot of the research part of it, where I can see neighborhood data and see sort of what our competitors are doing. But for me, Hospitable's calendar with the pricing software, it's easier to use, but it still gives you the features necessary to stay competitive. It'll give you like your recommended, baseline of what it would recommend for your nightly rates. But, if you're coming out of the gate and let's say you have a property that has more of a luxury vibe and you want to kind of skew that a little bit higher, you can definitely toggle that up to, making it 10% higher than what the rates show. Same thing with like weekends. If you want your weekends to be higher, because obviously it's summertime. This is when a lot of our peak season is. Then you can toggle that up. You have the flexibility to do that, but you don't have to get into these little micro tools on that you would on Price Labs in order to have to do that. It's just a quick button click, and and I've been doing probably the last few weeks a lot of A/B testing, and
Okay.
I will say we have gotten a better response with bookings from Hospitable.
That's great. Yeah.
And it's baked into our subscription, so we don't have to pay. God, I think we're paying like $700-800 a month for Price Labs.
See, and
So we're saving
I'm
that.
like the numbers. I'm like, Ryan, why are we spending this much money on this certain thing? Like, what are we doing? Why aren't you just doing it yourself? He's like, I got a plan.
That conversation was when I asked her to take on Price Labs. She was like, I mean, okay. I was like, trust me, it'll
I'm
work.
like, can't you wake up at like 2 a.m. and just do it yourself? Like, what do we? Why are we spending this money?
For sure.
No, I definitely totally understand. We're always saying that Price Labs is so robust, and it's perfect for that person who does want to get into the nitty gritty and understands all those little things about pricing. Now, if you want that simple solution that is baked in, and if you're just looking for, broad overarching, Hospitable is your guy, girl, thing, software.
Well, I'll give you an example. I have a buddy that has a couple of cabins in the Smoky Mountains, and we were texting. I got him on Price Labs, I think, a year ago. And he's texting me last week, and he's like, why, when I look at my Hospitable and Airbnb calendar, they show one price. And when I look at Price Labs, they show the prices I actually want, but the Airbnb ones are higher. And I was looking at it, I was like, do you have smart pricing turned off on Airbnb? And he's like, no. I was like, you've had Price Labs for a year and it's not been syncing up the prices because you have smart pricing turned on Airbnb. I was like, it's a lot to somebody that just has a couple of properties where you got to make sure that this software is connected and it's talking to this one. And to somebody that doesn't have the time or patience or passion for it, it can be overwhelming.
Yeah,
Definitely.
That's why I let Ryan do
And
it.
a waste of money.
Oh, wait, yeah. That's why I'm like, I'll take care of the houses. You figure this part out.
Right. I'm the same way.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just going to bring it to my last question. If you guys have anything else to tell me about, let me know. But a word of advice for somebody trying to get into the property management side of things or trying to grow their own portfolio.
You want to take it?
You go ahead.
I mean, I would just say, like, at the end of the day, it comes down to hospitality. Post 2020, 2021, you really saw, I think, a lot of people that got into this side of or short-term rentals that that were just looking at cash on cash return. The money was just like picking fruit because, you could get into a property really cheap. Your interest rate's really low. Like the cash flow numbers was just so great. But at the end of the day, like you still have to deal with people and these are your guests. And if you don't have a passion for hospitality, then it's going to burn you out. And so you have to make sure that hospitality is at the root of it and at the forefront, because if people don't, they might like your property, but if they don't like you and what you're establishing, they're going to either not book again. They're not going to give you good reviews, and then it's just going to eventually affect your bottom line. So you have to keep hospitality sort of at the forefront of your passion. And if you don't have it, then you can hire us to kind of manage your property for you, because we'd be happy to.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, on those notes too, Ryan and I obviously have the hospitality part of it, but on the cleaning side, you have to, and I think that's where a big thing with us is when we talk to people, when we pitch our business, when we have to, when we have these conversations, which honestly, a lot of the times now, a lot of our business just flows in, but when we're pitching it, it's like, okay, well, you're not just getting us in the house one time, you're getting us in the house multiple times over and over and over again, because we have the cleaning team. And if you don't have a good cleaner or someone that ultimately you can trust, then it just doesn't work. I mean, I couldn't imagine trying this without having, and it's not just because it's me, but without having our other team involved with it and cleaning the houses. And, when you don't have someone cleaning it, that you don't trust, it just doesn't, I don't think it
Or if
works.
we had to coordinate with 20 different cleaners, it would be a nightmare.
Yeah.
Especially, God forbid, I mean, if a house is trash and you need photos for a claim or something like that, forget about it.
Yeah. And Ryan and I travel and we stay at places, we stay in Airbnbs. And for me as on the cleaning side, I'm always like, okay, what am I going to find? What am I going to do? And we just met with that lady that stayed at one of our houses. She actually cleans cabins up in Big Bear, California. And so I was talking to her, and she's like, yeah, I walked in. I think I went there at 10 o'clock at night because they couldn't figure out the hot tub. So it's around the corner from my house. I drove over there, helped them with the hot tub. And she's like, honestly, as a cleaner, I walked in thinking, okay, I'm going to find something. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And she's like, everything was perfect. It's exactly how I would clean it. And I was like, well, that's good because I actually own the cleaning company. And she had no idea that I own the cleaning company or that I was a part of it. And she was like, I was expecting this and that, and I couldn't find anything. I was like, I'm going to find a hair in the bathtub. I'm going to find something. And she was like, I found nothing. Like, I'm
That's
like,
awesome.
That's good.
I love that. That's great for your 5-star reviews.
Yeah.
I mean, like she said, your cleaning is foundational too. Like hospitality for sure, but like if your property's not clean, your guests they're not gonna. It's not gonna be good.
And the maintenance side of it too. I mean, you've got to think. And in Bullhead City, I've been there for 28 years or so. So I'm involved with the community. I coach soccer, softball. Like I'm very involved. I know everybody not everybody, but a lot of people in town. Ryan would beg to differ. He thinks I know everybody. But having like the plumbers and the AC guys, and on any of our contractors, we have handymans. We call them, and they're at our properties. I don't even know, less than an hour. Like
Another plug to Hospitable though is with the smart locks. Like we can mass create a code for our handyman through it, and they have their own codes to enter, and they even have their own access to the calendar. So if we're creating a work order for like Sun River or something like that, like a property, they know when a guest is checking in, when they're checking out, and they do their own thing.
Yeah, the operations tab and it's just the best. I love it, and people don't use it too often. Actually, when you're talking,
we're not heavy users on that one though, yet.
What would you say?
We're not heavy users on the operation tab just yet.
Not yet. No. But we're getting there. I think a lot of it's growing. We've only been doing this for a little over 4 years, so it's like we're still learning things. We're still like, okay, how did we just end up with 14 properties in a month? Literally, it helps us keep and stay so organized, and our team organized, and our handymans and everybody else too. So we definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, Hospitable loves you guys, and we're excited to keep growing with you and seeing all of your progress. But yeah, it's been great talking with you. I loved hearing your journey just from, Microsoft to now. This is your full-time gig, right? Both of you? Like, this is it. So that's pretty
Sarah's
incredible.
got two. She's got a cleaning business how many Airbnbs are you cleaning out there now? On the Bullhead City side?
Probably almost 100, but then we do residential houses, we do commercial buildings. Like
she cleans the homeless shelter in town. Like she doesn't just do like the Airbnbs and stuff, but it's grown her cleaning side too. So she I have the management side in this, but she's also grown to an ungodly amount of Airbnbs that her team cleans out there too.
Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah. That's really, really incredible.
She's got it's cool. She's got like a little laundromat in her office, which was awesome.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, to do all the laundry.
We have to. It's crazy. Our goal is 42 loads a day is my girl she works 7.5 hours a day, and that's our goal is 42 loads a day. And she's getting there. We might have to hire someone else too.
I mean, I can't even imagine how many sheets you guys have on to switch out so quickly, and that's
fun when I pop in the office though. She definitely does have a system with tags and everything there to keep it organized, but don't go in there on a Monday afternoon because you'll see just the floor is full of just bags of dirty laundry that needs to be cleaned.
Yeah.
And I bet you've seen some stuff from Airbnbs and
but honestly, and that's what a lot of people always say, like, oh my gosh, I bet you walk into these things and it's crazy. But I think with our system and our team is we create such a good relationship with our guests. We get a lot of people that are they like to leave it a lot cleaner for us, and people that you don't have a conversation with. Oh, here's your code, you're good, we'll see you in 3 days, and you don't have to meet. Like we have some that I do walkthroughs when they check in and I love it. It is so fun. Every time I walk in, I'm like, hey, and they're so excited. And I've dropped off some of my personal paddle boards for people at houses, and like it's super fun. We enjoy the hospitality part of it. I honestly wish I could do walkthroughs at every single house, but
we
can't. We can't. My team would probably murder me.
I think that extra layer of hospitality is what's helped us grow the direct booking side of it too, because a lot of these people know that we are local and they can book all of these properties again and have the same experiences that they would with checking in and everything that they would on Airbnb too.
That's huge. Again, we hear so many people having trouble with the direct booking side because it's marketing that you have to do. It's a whole nother job on top of, Airbnb because they do the marketing for you.
Yeah.
But just having that rapport and also those repeat customers, word of mouth marketing, all of that is
for sure.
Awesome. Okay. I'm going to end it here, but thank you so much for you guys coming on Hospitable Hosts Podcast.
Yes,
Yeah, that was fun. Thank you.
That was awesome. Thank you again for tuning in to today's episode. As always, please do like, share, and subscribe, and listen in for the next episode of the Hospitable Host Podcast dropping next week. Bye.